Dear student, myself KM Jha, lecturer VPMP Polytechnic Gandhinagar. I am again here with the continued part from the Unit 3 of the Software Project Management, which is part of Fundamental of Software Development. The code is 3341603, that is from FSD. The first part I have taken, and the topic was prepare and manage schedule for different software development activities. First part I have taken. Now we will see the second part. It is continued from the first section. Now we will see the objective. As we have seen in the last part one also, responsibility of a software project management that we have already covered, metrics of our size estimation that also we had covered, and we had tried to cover the topic project estimation technique in the part 1, but we will try to see rest of the portion here also, scheduling and risk management, that we will complete here. It means we will try to see here. Now we will move to the PDF. This I have already opened here. This COCOMO model, this is a part of your heuristic model. Now we will see the COCOMO model. As the name is COCOMO model, the full form is constructive cost model. It was proposed by Boehm. The scientist's name is Boehm. It is a regression based model, provides a hierarchy of software cost estimation model. As the name is there in COCOMO model, it is based on cost model. So each section here, each module or each component decides a cost. Cost is estimated here in each section. So hierarchy of software cost estimation is here in each component, and three types are there: basic, intermediate, and complete. Whenever we are talking about the basic model, it is static, single value model that computes software development effort using program size. It is very quick and rough estimation technique. As the name is basic model, it gives an approximate estimate of project parameters. So the very basic parameters approximation that you are going to get it here, and the expression, the mathematical expression for this is E, that is effort, and TDEV, that is time deviation, that is effort is A1 into K LOC, that is kilo line of code, where A1 and A2 is the constant and K LOC it is kilo line of code, and TDEV means estimated time to develop the software in months. Effort means the total effort required to develop the software. You know very well that we have already discussed about this basic COCOMO model in the online classes also. So it is just an overview. Here we are getting the trying to approximate the estimate of project through the parameters. So COCOMO applies to three classes of software project. Whenever we are talking about the COCOMO model, it is applied. The utilities here in the three sections of project. That is, first one is organic project, second is semi-detached project, and the third one is embedded, which is a combination of organic as well as semi-detached project. Whenever we are talking about the organic project, small teams with good experience working with less than rigid requirements. So when we are talking about the organic projects, it is a small team of people, but people are having the experience from the same field, or they have already worked in the same kind of project or application in their earlier or in their current or earlier experiences. Semi-detached project, here you can get the mixed kind of approach, that is medium team with mixed experience working with a mix of rigid and less than rigid requirements. Medium team, it means you are having here in this team or in this project the people with fresh means current people who have just now completed their graduation or post graduation, as well as the people with experienced educated guests, they can made it here. So semi-detached project, it is a mixed team of experience as well as the fresh people are there. And embedded project, it is a combination of both. When we are talking about the intermediate COCOMO model, the formula is this one: E is equal to AIKLOC. Just now I said it is kilo line of code. We are focusing on lines of code, that is coding activity A and B. These are constants. Now we will see the analytical estimation technique. So when we are talking about the analytical estimation technique, you can see here it is all about the estimation of project. So analytically we are doing this. Unlike empirical and heuristic technique, analytical technique do have a certain scientific basis. When we were talking about empirical and heuristic technique, there we are not having any scientific approach, but here you can get scientific approach also to prove the estimation. The Halstead software science is an example of analytical estimation technique. Here you can get the example also. This particular software works on analytical estimation technique, Halstead. This method is used to measure size, that is project size, development effort, and cost of software product. Now we will talk about the scheduling. As the name is scheduling, it means pre-planning is there before we proceed to any work implementation, or when we are talking about FSD, here we are talking about the pre-planning of all the project. So scheduling the project task is an important project planning activity. As you can see, I am emphasizing on the word planning. So planning we will have to do here. It involves deciding which task would be taken up when. So it is going to be decided by the project manager when to do what kind of a task and what would be the staffing there, what kind of modules would be there. Everything is pre-decided by the project manager. So in order to schedule the project activities, a software project manager needs to do the following thing what I said now. So next is work breakdown structure. As the name is work breakdown structure, so the total work is used to decompose a given task recursively into small activities. It is like a hierarchical structure. The complete work is divided into number of modules, and modules are divided into small modules. That is a hierarchical activity, or recursively the things are going to be happen. So work breakdown structure provides a notation for representing the major task needed to be carried out in order to solve a problem. The root of the tree is labeled by problem name. Here we will see first of all the example. You will better understand through this. You can, here we are taking one example of MIS problem. You can see here the MIS application. It is just an example that I am taking. You can go with the other examples also. MIS application. Here this application is breakdown into number of modules like requirement specification, design, code, test, documents, and it is again divided into design and code. They are again divided into hierarchical sub-modules like database part, graphical user interface part from the design. Then again code is divided into two parts, that is database part, graphical user interface part. So you can understand that work is divided into, or work is break down into, it is broken down into number of modules, and modules are again divided into sub modules, and this is how we can understand the project. Activity network. When I say about the activity network, it is a network graph. The name is there, itself is representing the network. So through the network you are trying to show, or through the graphical representation, you people are able to trying to convince the other people, okay, this is how the things are going to happen, activities are going to happen through the graphical structure or network diagram. So activity network, it is a network graph using nodes with interconnecting edges to represent tasks and their planned sequence of completion, interdependence and interrelationship that must be accomplished to reach the project goals. We can see here through this example, you can see here, you can understand very well through this. Okay, here the numerics represents a number of days, 15 days for specification. Then design database part will require 45 days. So through the activity network, we are trying to convince the developer who is going to implement this. We are trying to assume for designing section, designing the database part, it will require minimum or maximum 45 days, code database part 105 days. So we are trying to plan that through the network. Okay, and that is activity network. So this is activity network representation of the MIS problem. Gantt chart. Here you can see when I'm talking about the Gantt chart, it is a complete representation. Specification, it is going to start from January 1 and January 15. Then design database part, it is going to start from January 15 and most probably going to complete on April 1. Design GUI part, it will start from January 15 and March 15 it is going to complete. And why there is a slack period in the rectangular backscape? Possibility is there to extend that section, means minimum and maximum part they are taking, and that's why there is a blank part also in that rectangular area, that is called a slank area, slank part. And so Gantt chart, you can see here, it is a complete representation date wise. We are trying to assume at least this is how the things are going to finish and how the things are going to be completed day wise. This is Gantt chart or Gantt chart, so you can understand that. When I'm talking about the PERT chart, here we are having three sections of number, that is minimum day, maximum day, and the average day is also there. The same thing when I'm talking about the activity network, there we have represented a single digit, that is number of days that is going to be taken. Here minimum days, maximum days, and in between the average days that we are taking, that you can say it is a critical path. Here you can see here the bold lines are here. This is called critical path. So PERT chart, it is an accurate issue that I just want to tell you. All possible completion times between the minimum and maximum duration for every task, that is minimum days as well as maximum day. You can see there three numbers are there. So minimum days, maximum days has to be considered. There is not one but many critical paths. Critical path that you can see through the bold lines, depending on the permutations of the estimates for each task. This makes critical path analysis in PERT chart very complex. So it is little complex, but the accuracy is far better than the Gantt chart. And when we are talking about the Gantt chart, here we are mainly focusing, or it is helpful for planning the utilization of resources. But when we are talking about the PERT chart, it is useful for monitoring the timely progress of activities. Means it focuses on the time limit, how the things are going to happen during the time slot. You can see here. Risk management, as the name is risk, so risk identification, risk assessment, and risk containment, it is all part of the project manager. He would have to understand these things. So it is not only key how the staffing should be and how the project is going to be completed, but the project manager have to understand one thing, key there would be possibility of risk also. So how it is going to be identified, how it is going to be assessed, and how the containment area is defined. So these are three activities that is going to be done by the project manager. This is called risk management. So a risk is any anticipated unfavorable event or circumstances that can occur while a project is underway. So anything could be happen, anything. So risk identification. So the project manager needs to anticipate the risk in the project as early as possible so that the impact of the risk can be minimized by making effectively risk management plans. So project manager have to understand what would be the risk possibly in future. So he will have to take the better actions for that. Three kind of risk are there. First is project risk, technical risk, and the third one is business risk. Risk assessment. So P is equal to R into S, where P is the priority with which the risk must be handled, R is the probability of risk becoming true, and S is the severity of the damage that is going to cause if it has happened. And risk containment, how it is going to be avoided, how it is going to be transferred, and how to reduce the risk. So this is all from the unit 3.